Welcome to the Unlock Your Game podcast, sponsored by Shoot 360 Louisville. Coach Blake, we're super excited. Episode 3, we're going to be breaking down some more basketball specifics and just having a lot of fun with it and getting to reach out to our members in a fun, unique way. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and a little bit of a different setup. Wasn't able to make it in the gym with you today to film. A little bit of a busy gym lately, but not necessarily a bad thing when we're packed from open to end. It's great to see all the people coming in and out of the building for sure.
Yes, I mean, looking out today, seeing all the kids working out, we're super excited to have this coming live while we have people in here. And we miss having you in the facility today. We're just ready to do an awesome episode 3 of the Unlock Your Game podcast. And today we'll kind of be going over just shooting in general and some of the habits, what Shoot 360 has to offer in the shooting specific world of a workout or fundamentals, etc. But this kind of first subject I want to kind of go over is, and we're just going to get right into it today, is what are the habits that build a great shooter? And I had some things on here and just kind of want to talk with you today over them and pick your brain. And just kind of first, for me, when we're talking about a great shooter, are they balanced? Do we have good posture? Our feet square, our shoulders square to our target? Are we making sure that we have a tight core, we're not loose, we're not going to let ourselves fade to the left or right, and being really disciplined in that sense of I'm balanced, I'm ready to shoot, my hands are ready, and all of those come into play into that footwork balance aspect of it. And for me, that's the most important thing that I'm always going to teach. And a lot of kids, when they're shooting on the arms, right, and we're missing left or missing right, and they're doing some movement shooting, a lot of them don't put it 2 and 2 together. Like, hey, we're working to our left hand and we're missing to the left because our body and our momentum's taking us that way. We're not getting balanced. Our feet aren't square. Our shoulders aren't getting turned to our target. Or whether it's catch and shoot drills, like I'm running to the right and I'm missing to the right. Your body is taking you that way. So there's some disciplines that I like to really focus on and teach, and just kind of shooting in general. You want to have a good, strong core. You want to be balanced, sitting down, not in your legs. And what I mean by your legs is you don't want to be sitting down to where your knees are getting over your feet or your chest is falling forward, but you really want to feel it in your hips and in your butt, because that's where that explosion comes from for shooters. And you see a lot of those people who shoot effortlessly. That's where that comes from, is they're transferring that energy from their lower half to their hands and their arms. And that's why I personally believe that it's just the most important thing for a shooter to have is good balance, good feet, good shoulders, making sure we have good everything down low so that everything up top can be in rhythm and on time.
Yeah, for sure. When working on balance, what do you think are some? So, if you're at home working on some drills, what are some good drills that you've found out to be really successful if you're working at home or even here at the gym?
So the first thing I would say is work out with intentionality. So like if you know that you struggle with balance, that needs to be in the back of your mind while you're working out. A lot of the times what I tell my kids or anyone I'm working with, tight core. That's going to really help you focus and help you not fade to the left or the right. Or when you're working on a step back, maybe you're not working backwards. You're squeezing, you're making sure that your body is under control. And that's just kind of a good thought process. That's not always mean that's the answer, but that can be one of those thought processes that help you. And then obviously there are drills that you can do, ample amount. And, it's kind of hard for us to display that here, but you, me, Coach Scotty, Coach Dean, Coach Deja, Coach Jalen, Coach Terrence, all the coaches here will be more than willing to, hey, if you came up and said, Coach, I'm really struggling with my feet, my footwork, my balance, what are some drills that I could do to get right? And we're going to get you in the right direction, because I think that's the foundation that you want. And then just kind of pivoting into that next part of it, what you want that jumper, that focus to be is good hand placement, right? You want all of those factors to come in. And a lot of kids don't take the time to come in and work on their hand placement, or they just don't know where to put their hands.
Yeah, you kind of actually took what I was going to say next about how important hand placement is when it comes to shooting, because a lot of the times, if we're missing left and right, sometimes we might not have that ball in the middle of the hand. And one thing that I've really found, what I found successful when I was younger, and that I've found when implementing when kids have had trouble missing left and right, is if we're really working on a drill when we catch that ball, make sure if we catch that put our hand in the middle of that dime ball on that eye. That eye is going to be perfectly right in the middle of that ball. The where you air up the ball as well, that's going to be perfectly in the middle of the ball. So if we put our shooting finger on that middle of the ball and we're shooting through, making sure that we're staring down our follow through and straight through the middle of the rim, we're going to stop missing left and right a lot more because we can see everything's going to be perfectly on line. So I definitely love where you're going with that.
So I got a basketball right here for everybody at home. Okay. So first off, hand placement, and coaches talk about having that good rotation, making sure we're shooting with seams. You'll hear that a lot. We have the basketball right here. This is a perfect representation of how we want that basketball in our hand. And when we go to hold it, okay, those seams are pointed towards our target, and we're not holding the basketball like this. We're not holding it sideways like this. We always want our seams to our target. Now, yes, are there times where you got to catch and get it up? Absolutely. That's where that time and those drills and the hard work comes in. Is I got to put in the work. I got to make sure that I can, one, shoot with the seams, make sure I'm getting a consistent shot, because you want the most consistent shot possible. And so that's where that hand placement comes in. We have good balance now. Now let's get our hands right. Let's make sure we have our hands on the same spot on the ball every time, because when it comes to shooting and creating those habits that we're talking about, it's consistency. That is the most important thing when it comes to shooting, and especially when we're in a controlled environment like Shoot 360. We want to shoot the same shot every single time. There's no pressure. There's no one closing out at you. There's no one staring at you, making sure your percentage is this or that, or this is going to get you benched, or this will keep you in the game. Keep it consistent. Okay. Keep the workout, have intentions with your workout, keep those hands the right way. And that hand placement in the middle of the ball, just like you said, making sure we have that rotation going, and that's your focus. And then the second thing is, we don't want that ball flat on our palm when we talk about hand placement. We want to be able to put, what I like to say sometimes, you can just put a finger in here and it's not touching the basketball, I would say your hand's at a pretty good spot on the ball. And then secondly, when it's coming off, we want to focus on, I call this the pistol drill, where we want the ball coming off of these two fingers right here and then leaving our thumb. So these two out here are where the ball will kind of turn over, but these two keep that tight, straight rotation, and I call that the pistol drill. So for our members, when we're working on a hand placement, something you can do is you can curl your fingers in, lay the basketball right there, and you can see I still have that good hand placement, but my fingers are curled in, and then I'm working that ball, doing my form shooting. 10 of those, and you're going to work on that hand placement. And then that left hand, okay? What I always say is you should be able to see your pointer finger, your middle finger, and your thumb. You don't want to be able to see these fingers. If you can see these fingers, they're too close. If you can't see your pointer finger and your middle finger, then your hand is too far forward. And I think that'll be a good way for our members to keep that consistent shot and have something to go to constantly.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely when we're working on new stuff, obviously, it's not going to feel comfortable right away. It's going to take those reps over and over and over to really get comfortable. So if you take 10 shots and you're like, wow, that felt really weird and that didn't look good, we just got to keep building up that muscle memory, know that we're just getting on that right path right now. We don't want to go back to those old tendencies that go back to having an unreliable jump shot. If we stick to these reps over and over, that's where it just gets naturally easier over time.
And we talked about it, right? And that was my third thing, and we've mentioned it a little bit here, Blake. The consistency, building consistent positive habits for your jumper are going to give you your results tenfold. You have to have good, consistent habits when we're talking about just the three things that really are going to mold your jumper to what you want it to be. You got to have good, consistent habits. And so just to remind those people, we talked about those three keys uh, for a form consistent shooting, it's that balance, posture, good feet, good hand placement, and then having consistent habits. And then just kind of rolling into this next thing, Coach Blake, how I just let everybody, how important is form shooting? Because I could sit here and talk to you for 45 minutes on how important form shooting is, and everyone would just fall asleep. So I won't do that. But I just let our people know how important form shooting is.
C360 family, we're coming to you today. We're doing our shoe raffle, and we're going to go ahead and draw it now. Here we go, Coach Blake. Exciting stuff. And our winner is Henry Weeks.
I definitely agree that form shooting is one of the most important things. Definitely, if you look at any player that you idolize, if it's college, definitely NBA, the number one thing that they always do is they start off with form shooting. They don't go straight to the 3-point line and just start jacking up a bunch of random threes because they see Steph Curry do that in games and they think, hey, Steph Curry does that. I can do that. What you don't get to see is every single day when Steph Curry walks into that gym, he is working on making sure that his form is perfectly on line to make sure that as he steps back, he's nice and comfortable. He's not making sure his form is out of whack because say we're in middle school and we just go straight to that 3-point line. We won't have that necessary, more than likely, we're not going to have that necessary power to where it's going to be more of a throw than an actual shot. So what we should do is we should start close to that basket inside of the free throw line, really. And we should just work on having that ball in the middle of our hand, that elbow in, and just working on having that release straight through the middle of that rim. Because if we see that and we say, all right, I'm not missing left and right. Everything, if I do miss, it's hitting the front of the rim. I'll get a little more under. I'll bend those knees a little bit more. So, I love form shooting. It's definitely, as you get older, it is the most important thing to making sure that your jump shot stays in line and you're building those really good habits. But I definitely love form shooting for sure.
Just like you said, there's got to be structure to it, right? And I don't want to steal your glory, but Cole Abrams is a perfect example of someone in our gym who comes in and takes the time intentionally to work on his form every day, pulls that arm out, does his form shooting, and then gets into a shooting workout. And for everybody who doesn't know, like, where do I start? If you're a parent listening to this, like, where do I start with my kid? Or if you're a player, coach, I've shot this way for 10 years. Where do I start? The best thing I can tell you is get with a shooting coach. Get with a coach here at the gym and say, "Hey, do you mind rebounding for me for 5 minutes, doing some form shooting? Show me some form shooting drills." That is a great place to start because you're going to get some individual instruction for 5 minutes and you're going to have building blocks for you to kind of build onto that jumper, whether you're starting new or you're adding on or making tweaks. That's going to be a great place for you to restart. And then it's kind of what do I do after that? Okay, keep it consistent. Who's the coach you're working with? Okay, hey coach, I feel like I've gone 2 solid weeks with these drills. You have more form shooting drills for me. You keep on doing it. And then kind of what that does is you build a routine for yourself. And that's those good habits we were talking about and that consistency. And so if I'm someone in here, I would always do form shooting before I shoot. And then I would always pick out a day that I have a specific form and rhythm shooting workout only. I don't go to the 3-point line. I might shoot a couple free throws, but you don't leave that 10-foot, 5-foot area and you just really feel out that form shooting. And if you do that process once a week and then do your normal shooting workouts with some form shooting in there, you will see a lot more consistent workouts and your percentages in that arc meter and that splash zone. And you'll start to see your in-game reps become easier. The game slows down because you're not thinking about your jumper. You're just shooting it and you're letting it go. And that it kind of rolls into our next thing of like those game reps for us. Where are we finding those game reps, or how do we build game reps when we're just practicing? Shoot 360 family, we have an opportunity for you all. We have our clinics coming up. First, Coach Terrence Jennings will be having his boys clinic. Please reach out to us and see, let's get you signed up. Let's get you in there. Coach Terrence has a lot of overseas and collegiate basketball knowledge to come to you, and he's super excited. And then we have Coach Deja and Coach Jay's girls clinic, and we are super excited for them. They do so many trainings in our building, and they build such great habits and foundation for our athletes. And we're super excited and can't wait to have you all in there. Please sign up. Registration is coming thin. We got a lot of people coming in, so we just want you all to get your spot.
Yeah, so when we're going into building these games reps, we got to make sure that everything we're doing is with 100% intentionality, because if we've got a drill package pulled up on the screen and say that it's a between the legs, 1 pound, dribble to the left, pull up from the elbow. Say that we're just standing straight up and we're going between the legs, taking a light crossover, dribbling over, stepping with our left foot, going left instead of our right foot. What good does that do when it comes game time? If we're not taking this 100% serious and we're not down low, we're taking those low dribbles, we're making sure that we're being nice and aggressive, and we're making sure that all our steps are with a purpose, and we're doing that with every single shot that we take. If you're taking all these shots in these 30-minute time, if you're being efficient, you're going to get 300 shots up, especially if you're doing daily shoot off and you're shooting a bunch of free throws, you're shooting a bunch of 3-pointers, you're building up that stamina to where you're getting late in that third and fourth quarter. You're like, all right, this is where I'm starting to fatigue. I got to make sure that I'm staying low on my jump shots. I can't be standing up trying to suck in air. I got to make sure that I'm nice and low, and that's where you can build up that stamina over time. So what other things have you seen that can really translate over to some game reps?
What are you doing to create game reps for yourself? Are you taking advantage of floor coaches? So are you taking advantage of the coaches that are walking around? Hey, coach, do you mind? I'm gonna set this at the top of the key. Do you mind closing out at me? I'm gonna catch and shoot, close out. I just want to see a hand up. Are you making sure that in your limited space, you're getting shots off the move? Are you taking the cones, putting them on the ground? We have plenty of different things that you can use. Are you using cones, coming off of them as if they're screens? Are you taking advantage of the tools you have in the facility? Are you using the things that you should be using to get prepared and make sure that these reps become and/or are continuing to be game reps? Because as a coach, and the conversation I always have with my players is, they'll ask me, "How, coach, the game just seems so fast. It's too quick. I feel like I'm rushing the shot. Like, I don't feel like I even have the ball in my hand." And it's what you do in practice, what you do in your individual time when you're shooting, like coming into the gym. And are the reps intense enough to slow the game down for you? If they're not, it's going to feel like that all of the time. You're just going to feel like you're chucking the ball at the rim instead of feeling like it's just a normal shot here at Shoot 360. And so intensifying those reps, making sure those game reps are on par with the intensity that you play with, is a huge factor. And especially that when you talk about your percentages getting better, you want those percentages to go up. Your game reps have to go up as well in practice. Hey, everybody, we just want to remind everyone that our camps are coming up. We're going to have the schedule on the screen. We're super, super excited for this summer. We have a great camp layout for you all coming, and we're super excited to see what we can do for you all. Please join us in June and July, and we'll see you all then. So kind of segueing over to now a little bit more Shoot 360 focus. When you're in the gym here, and it's not just your workouts, but it's Shoot 360 workouts, what can you kind of expect from that controlled environment and the habits that you're building? What can Shoot 360 give you with those habits or that in controlled environment?
Yeah, so one thing we have all these coaches walking around to where if they see that bad habit, they'll walk in and they'll make sure that that message gets relayed to where you're breaking that bad habit. They're going to find out what's going to work best for you. If you need help working on, finishing going to your left specifically. These coaches can really say, hey, this drill is something that I found out throughout my playing career that really helped me throughout mine.
No, 100%. And that's a part of that controlled environment. You have coaches to your disposal that aren't here to judge you, aren't going to pick if you're playing or not. But we're just going to pour everything into you. And then you kind of talk about building those habits. Coaches have been here, done that in the sense of we've seen 100 practices. We've done 100 practices. We've coached practices, some of us, and we've watched them from an outside point of view. Like we understand where our members need to grow and what it needs to be. You just kind of have to take advantage of the environment you're in. And that's the biggest thing that we challenge our members is take advantage of us as coaches, ask questions, make sure you're using our knowledge because we want to give it to you. And that's going to build habits, and that's going to build strong habits that are going to grow your game immensely. And then when we talk about challenging our members, I know Coach Blake, we like to do this every week, just kind of leaving our members off with a question. And I'll leave my final question or challenge for our members. When shooting, are you balanced? And is your basketball rotating the correct way? Are you seam end over end, or is it tilted, or does it look like a knuckleball? Are you doing all the right things and creating those habits and being consistent in your intentionality and your workout? That's the biggest thing that you can ask for.
Yeah, I love it. And the question that I'm going to get into today, sort of how you brought up the balance being a very important part very early in the show. Mine kind of goes along with the alignment and making sure that our hand is in the middle of the ball and making sure that we have that ball finished through the rim, the middle of the rim. And one thing that we can do is, as I mentioned earlier, we can catch that ball, make sure our hand is nice and in the middle. We've got that nice gap in between. And as we follow through, we make sure those shooting fingers are right through the rim. And we can see kind of that instant feedback of, all right, have I adjusted yet? Have I not? By if I'm shooting, do I see my fingers to the right side of that rim? Do I see it to the left side? If we keep seeing it over time that it's through the middle, then we'll probably see that shot more than likely keep going straight through the middle.
100%. Coach Blake, it's been another awesome episode. Everyone who's watching, please like the video, comment on it. We want to hear your all's thoughts. We want to get some back and forth going when you all come in the gym. And please subscribe, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you.